Here's what you're going to do. You're going to cut them all out. We're going to take these and just line them up together. And again, I like to just hold them in place. Now, I haven't even done my cutting out particularly neat, but it really doesn't matter that much because all we're going to do is we're going to kind of follow roughly to the line. If in doubt, come inside the line. So can you see I'm going to start here and I'm just going to come ever so slightly inside the line. Now, I do like to do a little bit of a back stitch as we go there. Can you see I've got my sewing machine set on to go nice and slow, John, so that I kind of whiz it through and make any mistakes.
It's better to be safe than sorry.
Well, it's nice for the camera to be able to see what I'm doing as well. And you can see there, I'm just going ever so slightly. It's not designed to leave a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, but I just leave an extra little bit just so that I basically just makes it a little bit more comfortable for me to do the sewing there. And there we go. And then we're going to go back on ourselves a little bit. So you're just sewing them together, first of all, in this part here. So I'm going to do the same with the outer one. I stitched both of them together, and if you look on the overhead, you can see how I've just come ever so slightly in the inside. And then what I'm going to do is just trim off those corners, just to make it a little bit easier. Then can you see? We're going to put right sides together. So I'm going to line this up right at the top. Now, we've had quite a few comments from people saying, do you need to be a proficient sewer to be able to sew these together? Hopefully you watching me do this will realise that that is absolutely not the case at all. Right. You don't need to be an expert, you don't need to be proficient in the slightest. By the way, these are 7 inches. So I've got the right sides together, I've cut my elastic to 7 inches, and I'm just going to sandwich it in between those 2 pieces of fabric there and put a little clip on. If you don't have these clips at home, you can just use a pin, but to be honest, this is going to make your life so much easier with the clips. I sat and knocked out 7 or 8 of these at the weekend, just sitting. I was just sitting an hour at the sewing machine and just having, not having to follow a pattern, not having to read any instructions, John, having all of them because of their fabric panels. This is what I like about this company who designed these fabric panels. Everything's thought through. The fronts are ready, the backs are ready. All you're doing is cutting out and then piecing together. And once you'd made one, it was surprising how easy it was to follow the other sides, and you would assume that the rounded one, the square one, sorry, would be the easiest. Actually, I'm going to take this straight and start and stitch it already. I found this one was just as easy to sew as what the other one was. I'm going to sew it all the way around, John, but I'm also going to leave a couple of inch gaps so that I can turn it all inside out. Right, so once you get it to this stage, I've left a very, very tiny little turning gap here. I'm not quite sure why I've left it quite as tiny as what it is. But you see, you can pull that elastic through and get the whole thing turned right through. So it becomes just the whole project in one go. Now look at that. So I've done that really quickly and easily. Now, yes, I'm going to have to go and, top stitch around the edge. But for you to see, in principle, how we've made that whole mask. I mean, look, it took seconds. Yeah. So all I'm going to do from here, you see, is just go and top stitch. That's our little opening there. Top stitch all the way around the outside. But even without the top stitching, you can see how that whole mask was a 2 or 3 minute project.
Yeah, and it holds its shape as well, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.